Hey everybody, Sam here and welcome back to Green Acre Homestead. In today's video, I delve into our well house. Very rarely seen well house out here on our homestead and replumb the entire thing for probably not much of a big reason. Or is there? Stay tuned. I've got everything pretty much stripped off, cleaned up, and cleaned out enough for me to go ahead and start tackling the disassembly and redesigning of this whole well house layout. I want to go up to the top of the hill and get some cinder blocks out of our garden. We have a stack up there of extras because I want to raise the pressure tank up off the ground probably as high as I can within the well house, but also want to bring it up on a level that's easier to work with and maintain. Not that there's a whole lot of maintenance involved with a pressure tank, you know, but when you got to work on it, it's easier if it's a little bit higher than down there on the ground. Our well system has been in place here for 5 years. It's how long it's been since we built the place. And in that time, I've replaced the pressure gauge once, the pressure switch twice, and I've reconfigured and moved everything out here from where it was originally installed, which was underneath the house in the dirt. Let me go into the garden and get some blocks. I'll come back down, stack them in place, and we'll go ahead and cut free the pressure tank. This is also the point of no return. Once this is done, no water is available to the house until the whole project is done. So I need to make sure I have all the foreseeable parts that I may need as best I can. I mean, I'm probably going to end up going to the hardware store. I'll just go ahead and say that. That's just the way it goes. But I need to make sure I have everything I think I'll need and kind of get a better game plan before I start. So let me do that, and I'll see you guys in a second. First step is to pull the service disconnect here. This will kill the power to the well pump and everything out here. I'll set this aside. And now we need to drain the system, which is really easy with our sediment filter. I just open this valve and it has a hose that runs outside. Well, that's a pain. That's seized on there too much. I'm going to go ahead and just cut the PVC right here. Let's say close to this elbow. And I'll do the same thing up here on this pecs, pretty close to the elbow. I like the pressure tank sitting here. I want to put it right here perpendicular to the wall, but this pipe and everything's messing with me. It's also quite the assortment of adapters from 3/4 to 1 inch to PVC to brass to PEX. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this PEX off here, and I'm gonna take all this junk out and really simplify it. I'm gonna reduce the number of joints that I have, which are points of possible failure. Yeah, quite the assortment there, huh? Let's make this simple. So what I'm going to do is cut the bottom of the pipe right here below this elbow, just to simplify this whole mess further. And I'm going to stick a shutoff valve right here. That way, in case anything happens with the water supply between the well house and the house, we can shut off the house and still retain use of the well if need to be. Alright, you guys just need to ignore this right here. You don't see this at all. This is 5 years old, so for whatever it's worth, 5 years, you don't see this. Just keep on looking right here at the pipe. This is what you want to see. Alright, we'll clean off the shavings. Scoop them out of the inside. Smooth off the outside. Alright, we'll go ahead and primer the end of this pipe. Then I'm going to do the same thing with my shutoff valve. Let those dry for a second. Primer's drying. I'm going to use some of this regular clear PVC cement to glue the shutoff valve onto the pipe. There we go. Now we have a shutoff valve that if we need to, we can close it, turn off the house, and continue to have water here in the well house and surrounding areas with spigots and other hose connections like that. Alright, next thing I want to do is I want to put 2 of these quick disconnect unions on this pressure tank. That way if I ever need to exchange it, or want to upgrade it, or just for whatever reason, it's a lot easier to disconnect, and I'll just end up continuing to destroy and cut and splice and cut and splice pipe. The way you wrap Teflon tape is you wrap it in the direction that you're going to tighten the pipe or the fitting over the threads. So in this case, I'm going to spin it on this way, clockwise as I'm looking at it, so I wrap the Teflon tape clockwise as well. The importance of doing that is so that you don't strip the Teflon tape off as you thread your fitting on. I'm reusing the other union that was down there, that's why this one looks a little bit gnarly. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this back side. I have this union that will thread on here, or a coupler, and then this piece threads into this one, and then allows me to glue the pipe into place. So I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 together, and then I'm going to join this here, and then put me an elbow up to connect to the supply line further up on the inside of the well house. There we go. There we go. Everything looks good and tight. Next up is to go ahead and glue the pipes on this end. So I'll pull the pressure tank out where I can get to it a little bit easier. I'll go ahead and put some purple primer on the inside of this joint and on the other side as well.
On your broken lawnmower. you're doing.
I am fixing the plumbing pipes.
Oh. So gonna be cash.
Yes. So I'm just going to run through the rest of this part, hooking these pipes together. It's a pretty basic order of operations. You primer the pieces, let the primer dry, and then you glue the pieces. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and finish gluing these all together and yak at you whenever I get done. There we go. That finishes the line that goes from the pressure tank down and to the house. Now we can work on the rest of it. I'm at the inevitable point in the project where I need to go to the hardware store and get a couple more bits to finish this out. So let's go ahead and ride out there, get the pieces, and come back. Well, we're back from the hardware store and we're able to get all the bits and pieces we needed with a couple of extras here and there because, well, you never know, for like $8. Score one for old mom and pop hardware store. Plus it's a lot closer than the nearest big box store and, you know, who wants to go there? Not me. What I'm going to do next is go ahead and cut the sediment filter out, leaving enough room on the left and right to put couplers in place, and go ahead and get that fixed, and then take all of this PEX out of the equation. It's all being replaced with 1-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe. I need to cut this right in the middle between this elbow and the filter so that I can put some couplings here to keep things together. So I'll eyeball the middle and cut it out. There we go. And I'll do the same thing over here. However, I don't care about keeping this coupler and these reducers and all that because I got a new one that'll thread right into the filter. So I'm just going to cut it really close to this coupler to leave me enough room to attach another coupler to it, or probably just attach it directly into the filter with the adapter that I bought. There we go. With that done, I can turn it this way and ta-da! It's put in the correct way. I think what I'm also going to do is just take this old filter out and install this other spare one that I found down in the workshop. Why not? I've got it. This one's new, never been used. This one's kind of crusty and it's got the stuff glued in and all this other junk. So out with the old, in with the new old stock. I've got the sediment filter glued back in place and it is correct this time, inlet, outlet. I'm going to next put Teflon tape on my water filter and put in both the right and left side adapters. This turns a 3/4 inch thread to a 1-inch glue-on or slip fitting, and that'll allow me to thread this in all the way, and then I can attach and glue it together just like that. It makes a whole lot more compact setup and it's a lot neater and cleaner of a look. I have my adapters threaded on here and they have been primered. I am ready to glue this in place. Now I will say this is risky to do, and what I mean by that is if I glue this in and there's an issue, if this leaks or something leaks for some reason, I've not left myself any room to cut and re-splice things, so this is very risky. Begs the question, why did I do this? This filter is already glued in, has been cut and spliced so many times that I have no more left over for this. At this point, if I've got to change anything, I might as well get a new filter. On this end, why am I not adding another coupler and extending it on out? Kind of the same reason of if I add a coupler, extend it out, I'm going to give myself extra points of failure, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to take a risk and hope and pray that I don't regret doing this risk. So with all that being said, you might want to consider to give yourself a little bit of extra 1-inch PVC pipe space to cut and splice to play it safe. So I would not recommend doing what I'm about to do. I've got the filters put in place, the cartridges have been inserted. This is only hand tight on both of these units. However, it is handy to get a filter wrench like this for this one to get off and on, because this will tighten up on you over time. It'll kind of get sticky. This one wasn't too bad. They don't have any kind of ribs on the side for this one for a filter wrench, so seriously, just hand tighten it and that's good enough. You'll be able to check and see if it leaks, so you're good. Fellers, ladies, and gents, that's it. Everything's glued back together. Now, whoa, before you go running and turning the water on right away to see how awesome a job you did, give that PVC glue and cement time to cure and dry. I've never personally blown pipes out like that, but I've heard stories, and I don't want to be one of them. So, now's the perfect time for me to clean up my mess, because I have made a mess in here. Clean up the tools, bits and pieces, trash, and all that stuff. Give this time to cure, and then we'll come back and do the final pressure test, cross our fingers, and hopefully not take a shower out in the well house. Okay, it's been long enough. Now's the time. It's the moment of truth. Time to put the service disconnect fuse back in the well pump. It'll kick on, and to watch everything carefully for no leaks, proper filtration, and all around no showers in the well house. In the words of that guy off of Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts. We have ourselves one little leak here, so I'm going to tighten this part up here with my channel locks, and looks like it stopped. I'm going to sit here and watch it for a few minutes though. Well, 5.5 hours later, and it is done. It looks a lot more pretty. I definitely really like having the pressure tank elevated up off the ground. That's going to help keep it a lot cleaner, a lot easier to work on, and just a lot better for a long lifespan, and hopefully not many other issues or problems. Not that we've had any. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to jinx myself, but you know what I'm saying. It looks better. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time on the homestead.